Do you want to hear something disgusting?
Always.
So, yesterday, I was...
On the scale from like 1 to 10, how disgusting.
It's not so disgusting
Okay.
that you're going to be like retching or anything like that. It's just one of them like everyday disgust.
Okay.
So yesterday I was at the gym, and after like my workout, I went into the changing rooms to obviously take pictures of myself in a cubicle because like the light is good in there.
Okay.
It's like a nice like background that I like and stuff like that. So I was in the
What do you have cubicles for? Like to get changed?
No, to like toilet cubicles.
Oh,
So like
okay.
there's a big main area, but then off to the side there's like the sinks and the cubicles and stuff like that. So I actually went in for a piss initially, and then I was like, oh, the light's kind of nice in here. Like it's coming down, making my pecs look big.
Sure.
So I take a picture in there. So I was in there taking pictures of myself, and literally I'd been in there about 5 minutes, and suddenly I heard the door, like the main changing room door, explode open. Someone comes running in with like some kind of urgency, and I hear a cubicle door blast open as well. And it literally like, you know, when you're like, whoo. So I'm sitting there in the cubicle, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? And I just heard someone hiss, literally like fucking Voldemort, I'm gonna fucking shit. And I was like, oh my fucking God, what's going on? And obviously then I hear this really frenzied, like someone...
I'm sorry, it's the warning beforehand for me. I'm going to shit. Thank you for telling me.
But this is what I was like. I was like, hey, like, first of all, he ran in there so fast that, like, does he know that there's anyone in the changing room at all? So if he thinks there's someone in there, is he warning everyone to, like, evacuate the area? But then second of all, if he doesn't, is he just telling himself? Or, like, I don't know. But it sounded so frenzy. I heard him like whip down his like gym shorts and stuff like that, and then just let out like the most horrible explosive diarrhea I've ever heard. Like a cross between like a water cannon and like a car backfiring at the same time, like intermittent. And the thing is, it went on for a really long time, and I was just stood in the cubicle like, because I didn't really know what to do at that point. And also I was like, how long is this going to go on for? Like it was a bit of morbid curiosity. And then we reached like a pause in the proceedings. And I just thought, I have got to announce that I'm in here now. Because if I don't, and I was like, if I don't do something and we both exit the cubicle at the same time, he's going to be like, what
so
the fuck? So I literally was like, and flushed the toilet. And then I just heard like, because at that time I could hear him pulling the toilet roll, and it was like, ka-chunk. Okay. I flushed the toilet, and then just the motion just stopped, and I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I better." Like, I almost started talking to myself, like, "Guess I better leave the cubicle now and wash my hands." So I'm left out there, and I was in there for like a good like 5 more minutes, washing my hands and like getting my stuff together and getting changed, and there was just like dead silence from the cubicle.
So he obviously didn't know that you were in there then.
No, I think he knew because I'd flushed the toilet.
No, but I mean, he didn't know you were in there before when he was like, I'm going to take a shit.
No, he didn't know when I came in. He came in, I guess. But afterwards, I think once I announced my presence, he was just sat there like frozen solid, like, their vision is based on movement. You know?
Literally just standing there with like
And
a shitty piece of toilet paper in his hand. Like,
just like... But you know what the sickest thing is? So I left. Someone else went into the changing room as I was leaving, and I thought, I've got to know who this is. So I waited there for 15 whole minutes.
no.
Not like directly outside the toilet door.
Makes you more disgusting.
Not
than the guy
directly
having
outside the toilet
shit.
door, but I had to send messages anyway. So I stood like at the end of like a walkway through some doors with a little glass window in, and I was just like,
I can't believe.
because I didn't see no one else go in, and I was like, the only person I've seen is the person that come in as I went out. So I know there's 2 people in there. The person that went in as I came out went out, and then the person that had the evacuation to do
Evacuated.
never did.
Never
Came out. So I don't know whether he was stayed in there from like sheer mortification, or whether it was just like a never-ending story of shite.
He was already wiping. What do you think? He had like a sequel?
Well, yeah. Well, you never know. It could have been like he thought it was over, and then it came back for more.
The most shocking part of that story is how much free time you had. I once,
you know what it was like? I was like, I can't wait. I'd like, this is getting weird now. I can't keep waiting. And then it was like, I'll just wait 1 more minute just to see. And I was like, I'll make a deal with myself. I'll wait 1 more. Because I sort of just wanted to know, so that if I saw them in the gym and maybe they were like better looking than me or something like that, I could be like, I heard you shit yourself in the toilet.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is sad.
I once waited behind a tree for 45 minutes for Jesse Metcalfe to come out the gym.
See, I can understand that because he's hot and a celebrity, but waiting for someone that you heard shit.
Yeah, but that was you.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. I can't understand my fucking self. But I just thought, speaking of like torn up arseholes.
Right. Okay.
It got me thinking about DP.
Okay.
Double penetration.
Yes, I'm familiar with the term.
But I just thought maybe the viewers, I might need to sort of lay it out for them.
They thought it meant display picture.
Yeah. Or
Love
director of photography.
Oh.
Yeah.
Less so. People are like, oh, love your DP.
He's the best DP I've ever had.
No, it doesn't work in the same context.
Like on set as a director of photography.
Oh, you're back to that again. Okay.
But so it got me thinking, like, what is your thoughts on it? Is a DP worth it?
I mean, it's hard for me to say because obviously I've never had one.
Right.
I presume you have, just by how anxious you got when I was holding your phone by the camera roll the other day. I've never seen such a shit look of terror. She was like, don't scroll!
DP, that's just because like literally everything. Even if I hadn't done a DP, I'd still be like, don't do that. Don't move. Let's stay within my vision.
So I've only ever done... I did once where I was one of the tops, but I don't feel like that really counts.
Oh, no, but it does, because actually that's a secondary, an opposite perspective to what I have.
Yeah, double penetration as a bottom. I'm probably going to say not worth it, considering just bottoming for one person sometimes isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Why don't you... Do you know what, babe? Why don't you take the floor? Was it worth it? Why don't you tell me?
So, I have done it, but only ever done it once.
Okay.
And I'm one of them people that's like, if an opportunity is presented to me...
Recently?
Within the last year.
Okay.
You can
Recent
see why
enough
I'm so anxious.
to be on your camera roll.
You can see why it was top of mind when we were coming up for podcast topics like, DP, worth it or not? Need other opinions. So I have done it once. I was offered the opportunity. The opportunity presented itself.
Your language is killing me today. The opportunity.
Yeah. So someone...
Did you write a CV and a cover letter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to like work on my strengths and weaknesses. Like, why would you be eligible for a DP?
Yes.
Someone that I like fuck with sometimes was like, I would really find it very hot to like do a threesome with you, and I would also particularly enjoy. He called it double fucking, and I was like, okay. So
you were like, can we clarify?
Well, I did have to say, double fuck DP. And he was like, yeah, I'd be really up for it. And the casual sex friend that he had. So why am I going out of my way to like not say fuck buddy?
Because you know we've got to bleep it for YouTube.
The casual romantic acquaintance that he had apparently was like very experienced in this. So I was like, you know, why not? Like, I would always try everything once. So I did it. It was very enjoyable.
Oh.
But the thing I was apprehensive about, there was two things I was apprehensive about. Obviously, like the actual like physics of it.
Yep.
In terms of like
tears.
Myself.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other thing was the physics of like how to maneuver it and like actually how is that going to work in terms of like motion.
I think if you're the one taking, you kind of just you really have to submit.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be like fucking going to town on it when they're like in the middle of proceedings.
No.
But what I will say is that it did take a lot of like maneuvering. So it definitely felt like like a project or something like that. So it'd be like a whole thing of like, now you do this and now you move to here and like you come in here at this angle and you like angle yourself this
pivot. Pivot.
Yeah, very that energy. And I was a bit like, okay, is this? And you know when that stuff like that happens, and it makes you feel a bit like
Takes you away, takes the sexiness out of it.
But when it was sort of complete, it did feel amazing to the point where I burst out crying.
Wait. Happy tears.
It was happy tears. I was literally overcome with emotion.
We live such different lives.
I remember at the time thinking, I don't think I've ever felt so good in my life. Like, to be fair, I had to have a couple drinks, obviously, to sort of like get myself like in the.
Were they laced?
Like, but I literally afterwards, it took me like.
Sounds like it was worth it then.
Well, it was. I mean, from my perspective, it was worth it to try it once, but I don't think I could do that regularly, or maybe even whether I'd do that again, because quite frankly, it just felt like it took forever to recover afterwards.
I mean, you say that now. Wait till like you start getting like the DP bug, it starts itching, and you're like, oh, I need to have this bug. And you're like, oh, I need to have this sensation again.
No, because I think like that. I think that the enjoyment and the sort of like overwhelming emotion of it was enough for me to be like, I have had that experience and I can file it away, and like that's enough for me. I don't want to go back for like diminishing returns, and I also don't want to be in a fucking nappy.
Well, do you know what? This is kind of like, it's a positive spin, because it's a positive spin because I thought it was going to be, is it really worth it? Like, you get 2 dicks, but then you end up with this and that. And I thought there's going to be like a lot of downsides.
Yeah.
But you were like...
You didn't think it was going to be a net positive?
No. And it's the fact
got a lot out of it.
You were
got
like,
a lot into it.
You were like Samantha Jones, like... For
the first time, those reactions actually make sense.
Yeah.
It honestly, like, it literally was like, I felt almost like I'd witnessed something religious or something.
Like the statue of the Virgin Mary
and
that cries a
they
tear.
were like, yeah, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I just need a couple of minutes to sort myself out. And they were like, "Are you upset? I do like you hurt or anything like that?" I was like, "No, I'm just so happy."
Do you know what I'm thinking? Maybe we should call the podcast Uncouth. Or Slops. Both work. Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But in terms of questions like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
I think about like the Dubai porta potty.
What's the Dubai porta potty?
When you they fly you out to Dubai, they pay you 30 grand and then they shit on your stomach.
What?
So
you say this like it's a thing that happens.
It is a thing, and I'm so surprised that you don't know. Like, I'm shocked that you don't know about this.
You're surprised I don't know about this. I'm not letting people shit on me. No, I might cry after
not
a
like
double
that.
fuck, but I'm not.
No, not like that.
Someone's toilet.
No, I know, but I just feel like you're normally like quite tuned into things as I am.
Yeah, clearly this one weren't in the newsletter for me.
Well, I did make a joke about it in episode 1, and I felt like it flew over your head, but we're going to come back to this. So they fly girls out, normally influencer type girls.
Right.
They have all like the pictures and the videos and stuff of them on the boat. They get paid. The rumour is it's about 30 grand, and then the Arab guys poo on them. And they film it and take pictures and stuff like that. So the pictures and the...
But why?
Why? Why did the Arabs do it?
Why is a raven like a writing disc?
Why is what? Why is what?
No, yeah. Why do they want
raven?
Anyway, moving on.
Okay. So the girls do it because they want the money. And they
And
get
a free trip to Dubai for content.
Yeah, but I would presume that the 30 grand is more so than the content.
Well,
And then the guys who do it, I think it's just a power thing. And I think, honestly, not to conflate anything like this with like paedophilia and stuff like that, but I think when people get so rich, they get addicted to power. And then, you know, humiliation becomes a kink because it's inflating their ego and their power trip.
well, yeah, and I guess when you're that rich as well, you can pretty much do whatever you want or have a lot of like very attractive people sexually, because obviously money attracts pretty. So then you've got to find something else to sort of like up the game a little bit. It's the same way like, you know, obviously like people start off being like, if they watch porn, they'll be turned on by just seeing two people like have sex, and then over time people need more.
Right.
I need.
I told you about the itch, girl. The bug. So you obviously don't know this because you didn't know about the Dubai porta potties. Katie Price did it.
No, see, I did know about
Oh, you did know about the poo on the
you
stomach?
mentioned the poo on her stomach, but I didn't know it was a thing. I just thought it was something that she'd done
No.
on her OnlyFans.
No, so she'd gone... What the fuck? No. So she had been like the Dubai porta potty.
I'd be like, what the fuck, as if that's so outrageous that she might have put that on her fucking OnlyFans. Are you out of your mind? You've seen what Daniela Westbrook fucking does on her?
She hasn't got shit on there.
Do you remember all them videos of her in a sauna, like fingering herself?
No,
I don't know if they were on OnlyFans, but they were out there somewhere, and it was like
a lot.
trick or treat.
Right. Well, no. Did you ever see the picture? No.
No, I will go out of my way not to see someone covered in shit.
It wasn't covered, right? It wasn't like writing fucking red rum on the walls. She just was laying there like this with like the little poop on her stomach. There was like three little coils.
3 coils?
Sorry, as if we made this whole episode about poo, but yeah.
I know.
So then you can see she's got like a little tissue in her hand where she's just like ready to wipe it off. And I thought, bless her, you're going to need a bit more than a few squares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like a little wipe.
You're going to need a washlet.
To me, that is just, I just don't think the Dubai thing is ever worth it.
No.
But 30 grand though, I can see why people do it as like a quick cash grab. And look, I appreciate I want to call it like the ambition of chasing the bag that quickly, but I appreciate you like going for your quick cash grab. Like get your bag in this economy, but 30 grand to be completely humiliated. Did the mucky mansion really need that much work?
What I want to know is how that topic gets brought up. So, like, if someone finds these girls on Instagram and they're like, hey, do you fancy like a free trip to Dubai and like come out and see the sights and get paid for it and stuff like that? And they'd be like, yeah, I'd love it. And they'd be like, so what we'll need you to do is to lay there while one of our big high profile clients, lots of money, does a shit on your stomach. Because if I got that message, I'd be like, you're taking the piss. And I'd actually, even if I'd like, part of what would make me turn it down, not also like having like not being into shit, would be like, I swear someone is just pranking me here. So if I even entertained that, someone would be like, look at this. He's like willing to let someone shit on him. So
yeah,
how do you even go about that negotiation?
Well, somebody messaged me once on Instagram asking me if I'd be down to be tickled. And I was like, look, I'm sorry, no, it's just really not for me. I would just feel really weird about it. So I feel like with that, I think actually when they're approaching girls, it could just be a case of, why don't you come out and party on this boat? And then once they're out there, then they're like, listen, if they've got...
It's time to pay the pooper.
So I feel like they might get them out there and then lure them in, because if they've got enough,
Bring it on them.
well, if they've got enough money to just die away 30 grand every time they have a shit.
If someone invited me to Dubai and said like, "Oh, I hope you've been having a nice time. Glad you've enjoyed the boat ride yesterday. Now lay down. I'm gonna shit on you."
Take a crap on you.
I'd call the police.
Well, it's not that. I think it's just a case of they might be like, do you want to make an extra 30 grand? You've had a few drinks, you've been on the boat all day. Maybe some girls say yes when they're under the influence.
Just had a couple of like cheeky boo-boos.
But for me, it's
Or a
just...
couple of cheeky poo-poos.
For me, it's just... You can't put a price on that level of humiliation.
You can't put a price.
You can't.
It's
And
a
you know,
different kind of MasterCard ad.
like there's all the like the logistics to discover. Like, do you think they maybe like... I'm going to say poop, because I feel like shit is just so vulgar right now.
Well, let's call it. Well, that's what it is.
Well, when they poop on, like, do you think they poop directly onto the stomach, or do you think they poop onto like some baking paper?
What, and then
Transfer.
throw it on us? No. Or onto like a pooper scoop shovel or something. And I don't think so. I think it is obviously all about like
Oh no, but what if
the domination.
Oh god, and what if it just like it comes out like that guy from the gym and it just is like...
But this is it. How do you know when you do this that it's gonna? Are you taking like a fibre supplement to make sure it's a nice?
I think the guy
consistency.
I think the guy in the gym knew when it wasn't gonna be. So when you've got like some big heifer like DJ Khaled running through the yacht, like doing his belt,
I'm gonna fucking shit.
I'm like, Sarah's ready. Sarah.
It's like a pair of goggles on or something like that. Just splash protection.
Oh.
That is horrible.
That's really disgusting. Is there anything else you've questioned whether you're like, is this worth it?
I feel actually quite stunned by what I've just learned about porta potty poo.
Yeah.
Dubai porta potty.
Not worth it.
Is it worth it? I don't think there's anything else I've done sexually that I've like said, is this worth it, with like level of like I regret doing it. There's been things I've tried where I'm just like, that weren't for me. Like people really into piss. I have entertained it a little bit and been like, okay, we can go in the shower and you can have a wee near my leg or something like that.
Maybe I can just run some warm water.
This is what I mean.
And you could...
And I've been like, yeah, okay. And then it does absolutely nothing for me. And to be honest, sometimes I think I wish I did, because everyone seems to be fucking into piss all over the show, but it just don't do nothing for me. So I've tried certain things and been like, no, wasn't worth my time.
No.
It doesn't do anything for me. But there's never been anything that I've like... Well, is there anything that I've truly regretted doing or being like, that wasn't worth doing?
But I mean, it's not even that. It's
Obviously,
just...
the DP was definitely worth it, judging by my reaction to it.
Well, you haven't got to decide if it's not worth it. The question is it worth it? So I'm just thinking about things that are like hyped, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, even it's so simple, but like starving yourself for a man, is it really worth it to just to go and have sex that night? And then it throws me through a loop, because I'm like, sorry, do you want me to eat 150 grams of protein a day so I can conform to these ridiculous body standards?
That is...
Or do you want me to starve myself so I can sit on your dick?
That's a good fucking point, because all the times that like I've had to like break from like gym diet or something like that so that I can fast the entire day so that I can have sex with someone at the end of the day or something like that. And then I think...
Girl, just shit on him.
Like, you fucking took me off my diet. You're the one being like, your body looks amazing. And I'm like, oh, great, thank you. But I can't, like, I'm not able to maintain it if I see you more frequently than maybe once a month.
Yeah, and then you turn up 2 hours fucking late, and I'm like, whoa, I could have had a couple rice cakes like an hour and a half ago.
Exactly. The amount of times I've nearly fucking fainted as well. Like, whether it's like before, during, or after, like on the way there, I'll be like, oh, I feel a bit like faint because I've literally had to fast all day or something like that. A couple of times during, maybe that's why I found it so emotional. I was just hungry.
Maybe.
I was overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, yeah.
By low blood sugar.
Overwhelmed and overstuffed.
Yeah. In the wrong area.
Yeah. Well, you were still stuffed in the stomach, but just from the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting enough nutrients.
I was going to say, no nutrition there, really, is it?
That's horrible.
Well, it got a little bit of emotional nutrition. Though,
Yeah, I was nourished mentally.
Probably up there with one of the top stories that I've heard this year.
Mentally nourished by a double penetration.
It's just the fact that you cried. That's what's getting me.
It's happened to me once or twice though.
What, that you've cried?
Yeah.
Oh, you're
from
a
being
sex crier.
No. From like an overwhelm of sensation. It doesn't happen like, it's not like how you come and you cry or that kind of thing or stuff like that. But it has happened like, there was only one other time before where I was just so like stimulated sensorily, but like not in an orgasm way, where I was just a bit like, I could feel my eyes getting teared up, but it wasn't to the extent of the TV.
So you were you think the tears came from like an emotional stimulation or a physical?
Both. I think it was like a feeling of like a complete sensory overload. Like I'd never felt anything like that and had no idea what to expect, but also like a feeling of like, this is something, like the knowledge that like I've never done that before, and it's like, you know, something that not everyone does. Like those people that climb Everest and cry.
And on next week's episode, why DP can't fix the void in your life. You know, when they're like, remember Monica, they're just cookies.
I think it is true though. I think like stuff like that, if you've got like a unmet need or something like that, like a void or something like that, these things can maybe trigger something that you didn't know.
Yeah, I do though. Like I commend you. I honestly think half the time I'm like, people are like, yeah, come over and bottom. I think, oh, is it worth it? I have a wank, close the app.
Yeah.
That's
true. Half the time,
I'm a very simple person though, mate.
Well, no. And also, this took like months of planning. It wasn't like
months of planning. Hold on, wait. Just
not like blueprints of like how we had to like lay it out and who was going to stand where or anything like that. I just mean like the guy and I had talked about like meeting a third person and like vetted a bunch of people maybe from Grindr. So I was very hands off. I was like, you just like meet the people and you tell me if they think they would be like our vibe. So I was basically telling him like, you're just gonna have to meet a bunch of people that you may or may not like if you think I'd fancy them. And then you let me know and I'll just show up, which is essentially what I did.
Yeah, I mean, come on, nobody wants to do sex admin.
No. You want to be the guest star.
Yeah.
Not the casting director.
Well,
or the director of photography.
Yeah, not the director of photography. On that note, we're actually come towards the end of episode 6.
Okay.
So yeah, guys, thank you for listening to episode 6 now of our still untitled podcast.
As yet unnamed.
We will get round to it though. And if you want to follow us on social media, I'm at Gilet Slays.
And I am at IamTomDop. I'm never going to remember that properly, am I?
No. So do you think you'll go up to 3 dicks?
No! Like I said, I don't want to end up in a fucking nappy.
Oh.